Hello everybody, it's Jess here with Bless Jess. Thank you so much for watching for another video. So today, welcome to my kitchen. I thought it would be fun to do a Q&A. So I put a post over on my Instagram channel and on my community tab on YouTube and asked you guys if you have any questions for me, and I got a whole stack here of questions. I don't know if this will have to be 2 parts, because I don't want it to be super long, but there is some really good questions. David and I have actually done some Q&As years ago, and I don't even remember if any of these are like over, we're doing them over again, but you can find more Q&A videos if you're interested on my channel. It's just very long time ago. So I'm happy to come back and answer your questions. If you're not following me on Instagram, definitely you should. I will link it down below as always. I am Bless Jess 86 over there. I've really been trying to do more content on YouTube, more content on Instagram. And so I'm going to do the Instagram questions first because there's not as many of them. There's just not as many followers over on Instagram. So shout out to everyone who follows me already and ask some questions. I am going to give you guys some shout outs and we're just going to jump into it. These were in no particular order or category. I haven't even read them all. So they're just right off the cuff here. Okay. Let's see. Let's start with Shelby. She asked, what is my favorite quality for each kid? That's really, really hard. I will say Nate is just my rock star. He has autism and he never lets anything slow him down. Like, he is resilient. He is he just adapts to situations where I think, oh, this is going to be tough. He's just amazing. He rocks it out even with his difficulties that he faces. He is just amazing. So that's Nate. Lucy has the sweetest spirit. She's just so kind. And so she has so much empathy for others. She's amazing with her brothers. She's an amazing girl. And I'm just so blessed to have her. She is just the sweetest, most kind child. Like, she really is. And then Mark, he is all boy into everything, but also the biggest cuddler. Like, he's just so cozy and loving and cuddly, and he's truly like the baby of the family. He's just, you want to pick him up and snuggle him. I can't wait to watch his personality like grow and develop and find out like what he's going to be like as he gets older. But right now he's just our little baby Mark, and he's so cuddly and cozy. Okay, next step, Liquor Lady 88. What is your career goal in life? So maybe you don't know, maybe you do know, I went to school for nursing. I graduated with my BSN in nursing 2009. So I do have a nursing degree. I passed the NCLEX and all of that. I worked as a nurse for a very short amount of time. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I worked in a surgery, operating room, and then I also worked a few other, I gave flu shots out one season and stuff. I don't know. I never really loved it. It was always like a lot of high pressure. And honestly, I think if I had started out maybe somewhere less intense as opposed to the operating room, I may have liked it a little bit better. But honestly, I have no desire to go back to nursing. Nursing was never like a passion. It was just something that I figured I could do if I needed to. But my biggest goal in life is just to be a great mom, and having a job like this where I can be my own boss, create my own content, do the stuff I want to do, and do it from home in the times I want to do it, take off when I need to, work ahead when I need to. I don't have anyone telling me what to do, really. That is my biggest dream, and I'm just excited to continue growing that. It's super exciting, and I just thank you guys so much for watching, because without you guys, I would have none of this. And so I'm just very, very grateful. Okay. Ash went keto. She said, has David and you ever been in a rough patch? How did you get through it? I wouldn't say we've ever had a rough patch. We've been married for, it'll be 13 years this year. Of course, I feel like every relationship, every marriage has ups and downs. There are times where you don't feel the butterflies and the lovey-doveyness. There's definitely seasons where we're just but I will say, I truly love my husband. He is my best friend. And our relationship is deeper than just romantic love. And on the days where we don't feel romantic to each other, we're still best friends. And I still love to just talk to him. And he is so sweet. He always puts my needs first. And so I wouldn't say we ever had a rough patch. Of course, we've had our ups and downs. But I think the biggest thing is just remembering that we're best friends, keeping our relationship under God's umbrella, and realizing that like the closer we get to him, the closer we'll get to each other. I truly think that my relationship with David is like the strongest relationship in my life besides God. And it's because we try to do a really good job of putting the other person first, thinking about the other person. My husband is so amazing, and I can't imagine my life without him. Okay. Mitchka21 says, who would you love to work with, either companies or person or people? I used to do a lot of collabs back when I first started my YouTube channel. And honestly, I don't really love to do collabs. Again, I like the whole like I am my own boss type of thing. And I don't like, it's kind of like collabs are kind of like group projects. Who remembers those back in high school and college? I hated group projects. You're like trying to work with other people to create videos, and I don't know, like it always seemed really stressful for me when I was a part of collabs. Like you've got to make sure you are all on the same page and you upload at the same time, and then there's people who drop out and you've already, you know, put your part of the work in. It feels very frustrating. So I don't know. I don't really have a list. There are people I love to watch, but I don't know that I'm really interested to collab with anyone. I would love to work with brands more, but again, that's also like you're your own boss, but you're also working under brands. Brands, when you are a YouTuber, an Instagram influencer, or whatever, they are crucial. I see a lot of people getting really aggravated with creators like, oh, I used to like to watch you before you started working with brands. It's super hard to hear that because there is a lot of money that goes into making YouTube videos, and ads do not pay for, like we get paid from YouTube or from Google actually based on the ads that play before, during, and after our videos. It does not give us very much money. It's very low. And so in order to pay for our equipment, our time, this is our job. A lot of us do this full time. And so working with brands allows us to produce better videos. If you guys would not want to see a lot of my other videos before I was getting paid, because it was like really poor quality. There was no music. There was no, there was a good camera and lighting and all of the stuff, camera supplies like memory cards and all of that. It adds up so quick. So brands are necessary. And what I love is when I can work with a brand that I already love. I'm never going to work with a brand I don't like, but sometimes I'll try stuff out, and if I like it, then I'll work with a brand. But it would be so awesome if like I could work with HelloFresh. I love HelloFresh. If I could work with, I can't even know, like a food we really liked or something that we actually love. I would love to work, like them to contact me and work with me. But like if we could work with Disney or something, like that would be a dream. That would be a dream. If they would like pay us to go on a Disney trip, sign me up. But that's the best I can answer that question. I don't really have a specific person. There's a lot of people I love on YouTube, but all right. Next question is from Autumn Lee, 1997. When do you like the gym best? What are the perks? So I go to Planet Fitness. It is literally the only gym in my area. And with our health insurance that we have, they pay for us to have a membership there. So I don't have to pay out of pocket. I mean, we pay for our insurance, but I don't have to pay above that to go to the gym, which is awesome. Planet Fitness is really affordable, even if you do have to pay. My membership is like $19.99 a month. And the perks, they have tanning, they have total body enhancement, which I still want to try. It's like red light therapy. They have the massage chairs, the hydro massage. Of course, like they do, like, I think they do like even personal training and stuff you can do. And they have like really nice facilities and equipment and stuff. The most I've ever done in terms of perks is the hydro massage, but I do want to try out the red light therapy, the total body enhancement. The best time of the day to go to the gym for me either early in the morning when like there's hardly anybody there, or like on the weekends, like say Sunday night, no one is there. And so that's really nice. The hardest time for me to go, like where there's a ton of people, is like Monday and Tuesday, 5 to 6 o'clock at night. There's a lot of people like after work and stuff. But our gym is pretty big. Even if I have to go that time, it's not that big of a deal. I wish we had a gym that had childcare, because that is the hardest part for me, is I can only go when David is here with Mark. And that really limits the amount of time I can go. And then I feel like I'm cutting into family time. So we don't have a gym that has childcare. Planet Fitness does not have childcare, but if you could find a gym like that, I think it would definitely be worth it. If you don't need childcare, I would highly recommend Planet Fitness. Another great thing is I can have unlimited guests. So that's really cool. If I wanted to bring a friend, or like say David didn't have a membership, he could go with me, except the whole like Mark situation, that wouldn't work. But that's really cool. And then you can go to any Planet Fitness in the country with your membership. So if you're traveling or working or whatever, that's really, really cool. So they even have like a $10 a month membership that's just like bare bones, but I think that would even be worth it. I recommend going to the gym just because it is such a good mental stress relief for me. So there's my gym speech. Okay, Star Lady 1964 says, do you have a goal that you want to accomplish this spring? My biggest goal I want to accomplish this spring is I want to plant some flowers. I have a terrible green thumb. I kill everything that I try to plant. But what I'm learning is like it is a skill, and skills can be learned. So I'm watching lots of YouTube videos. I'm trying to like think about stuff I can plant that I would actually have easier times of success with. Maybe do some container planting and stuff like that. I don't know though. That's my big goal, is to do some outside yard stuff this year. That's my big spring goal. And it's a big one because I kill everything that I try to plant. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, last question from Instagram. Jessica Johanna 12. I hope I'm saying it, but Instagram is hard to get people's names right. She said, what would Mark's name have been if he was a girl, and what are other names you like or love? That's a great question. So probably, now we found out Mark was a boy when I was like 10 weeks pregnant. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to think about this, but his name probably would have been Nora Grace. I love the middle name Grace, and then I just love the name Nora. There was a lady at our church in Georgia that passed away maybe a year before I got pregnant, and I just loved her. Her name was Nora. Made me even fall in love with the name more. I just love the old-fashionedness of it. I love 4-letter names. You guys probably know that, by Nate, Lucy, and Mark. And I would have spelled Nora Nora. The only reason I was maybe thinking not naming him Nora if he was a girl was my brother has a dog named Nora. And so I was like, is that gonna be weird? I hear the word Nora and I think dog, but I probably, just because I love the name so much, he would have been Nora Grace. We're not having any more, so feel free to use it if you want. Some other names we liked. So if Lucy had been a boy, we had the name William Henry picked out, and that was after David's papa. And it's so funny because when we got pregnant and we found out it was a boy with Mark, we were like, well, we can name him William Henry, like Lucy's name, the one we had picked out. And for some reason, it just didn't feel right for Mark. It was like, no, that's not, I don't know why. We're just like, that's not his name. So it took us a little while to come up with Mark's name. His name is Mark Turner Holley, which Turner is my maiden name. And I really wanted him to have a family middle name, but I have so many like family names, like my brothers and my grandparents, my dad, everybody. And it's like, how do I pick one? And so when I had the idea to use my maiden name, and that way I could honor everybody on my side of the family, I was like, perfect, that's it. And then I've always loved the name Mark. So that was an easy-ish decision, but Nora Grace would have been his name. All right, I'm gonna try to get a little faster because it's taking a while and we're barely into this. Okay. Jessica Madalena from YouTube says, any other home updates you're wanting to do or decorate after the outside deck is done? She says, God bless you, girl. I love to watch all your videos. Thank you so much, Jess. Okay, yeah, I have a list a mile long of things I want to do in the house. I am super grateful for my house, but of course there's like things I'm like, oh, I'd like to change this. I'd like to change that. The short list is, of course, like she said, we wanted to finish the outside. The patio area is our main goal. That's like the top goal this year. Short list after that would be, I want to get new furniture for the living room. We really want to get a sectional. I've been looking at Big Lots. There's a few sectionals we really, really like for great prices over there. So I'm thinking maybe in the next year getting a sectional, kind of changing up this furniture we've had since we were in our apartment. And it's just, it kind of feels like more of like apartment size furniture. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but yeah. Change that. Eventually, we would like to get a fence in the backyard, not anything we have to get done right now. We would also like to eventually change our bathroom because we have that weird half sit down shower thing, but it was going to cost like $4,000 or $5,000 to change it. And honestly, it's not that big of a deal to me. So another thing is I've thought about painting the cabinets white eventually, and also painting like walls, like the living room, that really bright blue that we have. I'd like to kind of tone that down a little bit. But all of that is way in the future. It's nothing that I really want to get done right now. Just enjoying being here in our awesome house. Okay. Abby D, 1015. Hey girl. She said, I know you've been in Indiana for about a year now, but when you did move, did you find it difficult to transition to no help? I know how nice it is to have family around to help, so I wonder how you handled it. That is a very great question. And when I read this, I was like, oh, that's a good question. I don't even know. So this is what I came up with when I was thinking about this. We have had kids almost 10 years. 10 years this May is when Nate will be 10. And we lived close by family for 10 months of that. So we are not used to having help. We are not used to having family nearby. Our whole parenthood has been away from family, honestly. Like, we lived in Texas, we lived in Georgia. The closest we ever lived to other people was Georgia. We were still four hours from family. So we're used to not having a lot of help, and it wasn't that big of an adjustment. Now, we miss everybody. After living with my mom and dad for 10 months, it was super nice to be able to leave somebody there. If we had a dentist appointment, you know, it was just easier to have more hands to be able to watch kids. We definitely got date nights more often. You know, it was really nice, but we're not used to that. So it wasn't that hard going back to not having any help. The hardest part for me is like when we have church events. Honestly, this is the hardest part. When we have church events that Nate can't handle, I just have to stay home with him. And so my prayer is that people understand that and they don't think I'm just being like a snob who doesn't want to come. But there's all the time like dinners and different things. And I just have to realize like my kids are my priority and I'm gonna have to stay home. I think everybody's super understanding of that. But that's the hardest part. And then when family does come, we try to like schedule date nights and schedule time like that because they're only here for a short amount of time. Okay, here we go. Carly Cobb said, would you ever be open to making a video about budgeting? I would be interested to see how your family of 5 does it, with David being a pastor, you being on YouTube, and being relatively new homeowners. This is a great question, and honestly, I do not feel qualified. I am not a good budgeter at all. I would be open to it maybe. Right now, my goal is just to kind of keep track of what we're spending. That's fairly new. Used to, like, I wouldn't even keep track of, like, this is how much we spent in groceries for the month of March. But I'm kind of trying to do that just so I can be aware of, like, how much we're spending. But I'm not even really putting us on a strict budget. This is my biggest tip, because yes, David has been a pastor our whole marriage. They don't make a lot of money. I don't make a lot of money on YouTube. But what we have learned is we have learned to live and be content with less. We do not have the newest cars. We do not have the newest phones. We do not have the most expensive house. We have a very nice house in a safe area, but it was not the most expensive one we could find. We drive our cars for years, and God has blessed us. Like, we are so blessed to have what we have. But we don't have the most nicest thing ever. Like, we sacrifice so that I can stay home. And part of that is just being really tight with what we choose to buy. That's my biggest tip. If you are in like a place of, how am I going to make this budget work? Not even in terms of like budgeting, but just choosing to make things stretch as much as you can. And then what I love about YouTube and like working for myself is if we need a little bit extra, say we're saving for Christmas or whatever, it's amazing how God will bring like different projects or brands into my life at the time like we need the money. And so we honestly try to live beneath our means and be happy with Walmart clothes. And we don't have, like, this phone is like a iPhone 6. It's not the whatever the newest one is. And our cars are not, I would never go and like upgrade my car, because to me, like, that's not even worth it. I want to have a safe car, but it doesn't have to have like all the bells and whistles. So that's my little thing on there. We just had to live like that because we really just, neither one of us care that much about like material things. You know, we have enough to buy food and clothing, and we do take vacations and we buy nice Christmas presents, but I don't feel like we ever go overboard. We try not to put money on credit cards and stuff like that. And also another big reason why we've been able to make it work with David being a pastor and me having, you know, my job at home is we tithe. We give God 10% of everything we make, and it's amazing how you think that's going to make you have 10% less income, but God like supernaturally multiplies it. If you're not tithing, I would highly recommend to start tithing. When you give back to God, like, He multiplies it and takes care of you. Like, I could tell you story after story where we felt like we had no money, but we still chose to tithe, and then God like gave it back in multiples. So that's another thing. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple more and we're gonna go ahead and stop it. Sunny Side Up Egg says, what was Nate's reaction the first time you gave him a bento box for school lunch? So Nate has had the bento box since preschool. I saw them fairly early on when he had just started school. They started becoming a little more popular. I saw them on YouTube and stuff. And I just thought it was so perfect because you didn't have to open anything. Like, you just opened the lid and everything was already like compartmentalized, and it was really good for him because at that time he was just eating kind of snacks. He wasn't eating like he is now. He was eating goldfish and like a cereal bar, and that was really like all I could pack him. So what we did was the first few days, because I knew like if he went to school and opened his lunchbox and it was different, he may not want to eat it. So on the weekends, and if he had like a free time before school started, I would always practice with him. I would give him the bento box, you know, a few days before school and let him kind of practice eating out of it. And that helped a lot. But he has always loved the bento box. Lucy loves it. I've heard teachers say they really like it because they don't have to open like all the little individual packages of everything. So, all right, you guys, so I'm going to end the video right here. I hope you enjoyed. If you did and you want to see more like it, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. There will definitely be part 2 coming very, very soon. If you have any additional questions, leave them down below, and make sure you subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.